Eshio stood at the edge of his father's farmland in the soft amber light of dawn, the morning dew still clinging to the blades of grass. He had just turned 18, a milestone many in his village marked with quiet pride, but for Eshio, it stirred a deep longing. Not just for freedom, but for responsibility. He wanted to build something for himself, to stand on his own 2 feet. He wanted a home, his home. Not far from his parents, of course, because in the heartbeat of Oakpella, family was everything. But far enough that he could call it his own world. He'd grown up in the warm embrace of his parents' modest mud-brick house on the outskirts of the village. His father, a skilled palm wine tapper, had always provided what little they had with dignity. His mother, a trader of yams and smoked fish, often reminded him that even the tallest iroko tree starts from a tiny seed. Those words became the foundation of Eshio's vision. The decision. It was during a walk one quiet afternoon that Eshio stumbled upon a piece of overgrown land near the river's bend, just a short walk from his parents' place. The plot was surrounded by aging trees and thick bush, but beneath the wildness, Eshio saw a future. He imagined a 2-room clay house, with a small porch shaded by mango trees. He imagined children playing, his mother visiting with hot pepper soup in her favorite calabash bowl. He imagined peace. After days of inquiry and negotiation, he learned that the land belonged to an old hunter, Baba Oripe, who had long since moved to his daughter's house in a neighboring town. The land had been left untouched for years. Eshio approached Baba Oripe with humility and explained his dream. The old man, touched by his sincerity, offered to sell the land to Eshio at a modest price. Still, it was more money than the boy had ever held in his life. Eshio decided to take his future into his own hands. He picked up small jobs, helping farmers clear land during planting season, assisting masons in molding clay bricks, and even carrying firewood to the market for elderly women. His hands bore calluses, and his back often ached, but his spirit remained unwavering. Some evenings, he'd sit by the fire with his father, discussing construction methods, budgeting, and land registration. He learned to mix sand with red clay, to mold bricks that would dry in the sun. The village elders watched with admiration, and even offered advice. One offered leftover roofing sheets, another helped him fell trees for timber. Foundation of a dream. With the help of his childhood friends and neighbors, Eshio cleared the land. The foundation was dug, and he laid the first stone with his father by his side, their hands pressed together in the wet soil. It was more than a house. It was a symbol of growth, perseverance, and the future. As the months passed, the house began to take shape. A 2-room structure with a small kitchen behind and a front porch just as he'd imagined. The walls were clay and earth, but smoothed skillfully and painted with natural pigments from the nearby hills. The roof, patched together from donations and savings, held strong. Every nail, every beam was a story of someone who believed in him. On the day he moved in, the sun was high and the village was buzzing with excitement. His mother arrived first, her wrapper tied neatly and a smile of quiet pride on her face. She walked through the house slowly, touching the walls like they were made of gold. His father came later, carrying a carved wooden stool, an heirloom passed through generations. The community gathered that evening, celebrating with drums, food, and laughter. There were no chandeliers or tiled floors, but the warmth was tangible. Children danced barefoot in the compound, elders clapped and shared stories of their first homes. Looking ahead. From that day forward, Eshio became a symbol in Oakpella, not of wealth, but of intention. He continued to support his parents, often visiting to help with chores and bringing food. He grew vegetables behind his home, sold palm fruit at the market, and slowly expanded the house, adding a 3rd room and a cement floor as the years passed. What started as a dream on an idle afternoon had grown into a reality carved from the soil of determination. Eshio didn't just build a house, he built a life, rooted in community and watered by the lessons of his upbringing. And every morning, as the rooster crowed and the sun painted Oakpella gold, Eshio stepped out onto his little porch, took a deep breath, and smiled, because home was exactly where he had always dreamed it would be. The youth in the Oakpella community learned determination and hard work. Every youth was inspired and made plans to own a home for themselves.